Bangladesh is a nation on edge. The Supreme Court's recent decision to slash government job quotas for families of 1971 war heroes has ignited widespread protests and violence. The court's ruling, which reduced the quota from 30% to a mere 5%, has been met with outrage from many, particularly those who believe it disrespects the sacrifices made during the country's liberation war. This controversial decision has reopened old wounds and exposed deep divisions within Bangladeshi society. The quota system, in place for decades, was intended to honor the legacy of the Mukti Bahini fighters who fought valiantly for Bangladesh's independence. Many argue that reducing the quota undermines their sacrifice and ignores the economic struggles faced by their descendants. The government now faces a difficult task. It must balance the demands of those who feel betrayed by the court's decision with the need to ensure fairness and equal opportunity for all citizens. The coming days will be crucial in determining whether Bangladesh can heal this rift and move forward as a united nation. The quota system, a cornerstone of Bangladesh's post-independence identity, has long been a subject of debate. Introduced in the aftermath of the 1971 war, it aimed to provide opportunities for the families of freedom fighters, often marginalized and economically disadvantaged. This system reserved a significant portion of government jobs and educational placements specifically for them. However, over the years, the quota system faced growing criticism. Many argued that it created an uneven playing field, disadvantaging those who, while academically deserving, lacked the freedom fighter family status. This sentiment fueled resentment and sparked calls for reform, with critics demanding a merit-based system that prioritized qualifications over lineage. The Dhaka High Court, responding to these concerns, took a bold step in 2010 by scrapping the quota system altogether. This decision, though welcomed by some, was met with fierce opposition from pro-quota groups who viewed it as an affront to the sacrifices of their forefathers. The battle lines were drawn, setting the stage for a prolonged legal and social struggle over the quota system's fate. The Supreme Court's recent decision to uphold the Dhaka High Court's order, effectively reinstating the quota system, proved to be a tipping point. Protests erupted across Bangladesh, with thousands taking to the streets to voice their anger and frustration. University campuses, traditionally hotbeds of activism, became centers of unrest, with students at the forefront of demonstrations. What began as peaceful demonstrations quickly escalated into violent clashes between protesters and law enforcement. The air filled with the acrid smell of tear gas as police attempted to disperse the growing crowds. Bricks and stones were hurled, vehicles were vandalized, and fires raged through the streets, painting a grim picture of chaos and unrest. The government's response was swift and severe. Security forces were deployed in large numbers, and a heavy-handed approach was adopted to quell the protests. The situation spiraled further out of control, pushing Bangladesh into a state of political turmoil and uncertainty. In the midst of the turmoil, families are struggling to cope with the aftermath. Many have lost their homes, and countless others are living in fear. The human cost of this unrest is immeasurable. Children are unable to attend school and businesses are shutting down. The community is left to pick up the pieces, hoping for a return to normalcy. Today, the Supreme Court of Bangladesh announced a revised quota system. This new system aims to address the grievances of the protesters while maintaining a fair and balanced approach. The court emphasized the importance of equal opportunities for all citizens, regardless of their background. This decision marks a significant step towards resolving the ongoing conflict. As tensions continue to simmer, authorities have imposed a curfew in several areas. The curfew is intended to prevent further violence and ensure the safety of residents. Law enforcement is on high alert and citizens are urged to stay indoors. The situation remains tense, and the community is anxiously awaiting further developments.